Todd Sachs is Sachs Realty, and I'm sitting here with one of our agents, Ruth Lyons, and we're going to talk about some of the frequently asked questions that we get when we have buyers looking to buy a home. So, Ruth, we'll start off with an earnest money deposit. We like to say EMD, but a lot of times, we use these acronyms that people don't know what they are. Maybe they've never bought a house before, or maybe it's been a while. So, let's talk about that.
Okay, well, the EMD is sort of a security deposit that you put down on a house. It shows the seller that you're serious, that you are serious about buying the house because you're willing to put some of your own money down to get your offer accepted. And typically, they say there's no typical in real estate, right? Everything's negotiable, but 5% is a decent amount. Oftentimes 1% is enough. It depends on the price of the house and the situation, if there are other offers on the house, which your agent should know and be able to tell you or not.
Yeah, that's right. So, a lot of times they're looking for us to give them suggestions of, how much do I put down? But I think it's important that they also realize that, and the other side realizes this too, if they're represented by an agent, a licensee, that money actually, once the contract is accepted, actually goes into an escrow account, which is a separate account of that escrow agent, whoever that may be, whether it's the broker or whether it's a title company. And that money really becomes part of the deal. But yes, EMD is a very important part, and it does show commitment. So when someone isn't really putting down, they're buying a $400,000 house and they want to put down a $500 earnest money deposit, it's not really received a lot of times by the seller as that buyer being that serious.
Right, because there are risks when a buyer accepts an offer or seller accepts an offer, right? They are taking the house off the market. They're not allowing other people to see it. The days on the market are ticking by. So a seller wants to make sure that you're serious about performing on the offer that you put through.
Yep. So let's talk about some other steps. So once we are successful in helping a buyer actually have an accepted offer, then there's a couple other steps that take place. So let's talk about those.
So after we have an accepted offer, then we have a timeline. There are certain steps that need to happen for the deal to be finalized, for you to get the house that you've put an offer on. As a buyer's agent, I typically recommend an inspection. So that's going to be the first step. And an inspector is a licensed professional who comes out and looks at the structural, mechanical aspects of the house. Going to check the foundation, going to make sure all the plumbing works and the electric is up to code, and a lot of other things. But it's important to really have a professional look at the property. And so after the inspection and all the renegotiation, if there is any, is done, the next step is typically an appraisal, and a lender will usually handle the appraisal, and they usually want the appraisal to be done. They want to make sure that the price you're offering on the house is what the house is worth, because they're going to be putting their money behind the mortgage.
Yeah, that's right. So, the steps of the process, obviously, we have the, house that they want to buy. Then there's an earnest money deposit with an offer. The offer gets accepted. Then we have the home inspection. Now we're at the appraisal. And then once all of that goes well as planned, then we're off to settlement.
Right.
So usually, let's talk about what that time frame looks like to someone interested in buying a house.
Okay, well, the time frame is typically you put the offer on and it gets reviewed by the seller pretty quickly, day, 2 days. If there's multiple offers, they might come back and say that they would like your highest and best offer. But that's only typically a couple days. And then you request, as soon as the offer is accepted, you request the inspection. 7 to 10 days is a typical timeline between when you say that your offer is contingent on an inspection, and you get the inspection results and get those results back to the seller.
Yep, but then usually we're probably 30 to 45 days at the longest period before someone's moving into their new home.
Yes, assuming everybody is moving forward and there are no delays.
Exactly.
One delay that happens quite a bit is that the buyer doesn't have all their documents together. A loan officer is going to ask you a lot of questions. They're going to want 2 years of tax returns and bank statements. And so having that all together, being pre-approved before you put your offer on is really key to getting things happening
Yep.
quickly.
That's a good point. All right, guys, there you have it. So if we haven't answered your specific questions or concerns, go ahead and leave a comment below and we'll be sure to answer it. So we hope to help you buy your next home.